The age of piracy, often romanticized and glorified in books and movies, was a time of great turmoil, but also a time of great opportunity for the daring few who chose the life of a pirate. These men and women sailed the seven seas with one goal in mind: to strike it rich. From the late 1600s to the early 1700s, the golden age of piracy brought with it legends, treasures, and a brutal reality that most would not survive. Pirates weren't born from the ranks of noblemen or skilled sailors. Many were former sailors, often abandoned by their ships or driven to crime by the harsh realities of life at sea. The navy and merchant fleets, although offering steady work, were brutal in their own way, and some sailors turned to piracy as a more lucrative and liberating option. Life on the high seas wasn't easy, but the promise of treasure and freedom made the pirate's life alluring. While most people imagine pirates as lawless bandits, there was a surprising amount of order within pirate crews. Pirates followed a code that governed everything from the division of treasure to the treatment of prisoners. For instance, a pirate crew often had democratic elections to decide their captain, and the loot was divided equally among the crew. Despite their fearsome reputation, pirates had a sense of fairness when it came to sharing the wealth they plundered. This sense of order extended to their discipline as well. Pirates who broke the rules were harshly punished, often by having their limbs amputated or facing execution. But the allure of wealth and freedom on the high seas was enough to entice sailors to take the risk. Pirates weren't just after treasure for the thrill, it was their means of survival. The wealth they amassed allowed them to live lavishly, but it also kept them constantly at odds with the naval fleets of powerful nations. The Caribbean was the most infamous region for piracy. Islands like Nassau in the Bahamas became pirate havens where crews could rest, resupply, and sell their stolen goods. These havens were vital to the pirates' operations, providing a sense of community and an opportunity to lay low for a while. Here, pirates could enjoy the spoils of their conquest: rum, food, and even women, all while remaining hidden from the naval forces that hunted them. The pirates' lives were driven by a constant desire for treasure. The Caribbean, with its wealth of merchant ships filled with gold, silver, and valuable cargo, was a paradise for pirates. Pirates were known to target the heavily armed merchant vessels of European nations, hoping to capture them and loot their cargo. The more successful pirates could take hostages, ransom them for money, and use the proceeds to fund their next raids. But with the constant pressure from naval fleets and the growing military presence in the Caribbean, many pirates had to adapt. Some turned to raiding smaller, less defended ships, while others resorted to attacking ports and towns on the coastline. Among the most notorious of pirate captains was Blackbeard, whose name still sends shivers down the spines of those familiar with pirate lore. Blackbeard, born Edward Teach, terrorized the Eastern American colonies, capturing merchant ships and sending a clear message of rebellion. With his long black beard and wild appearance, he became a symbol of pirate lawlessness. But Blackbeard was more than just a brute. He was a cunning strategist who used psychological warfare to intimidate his enemies. He would light fuses in his beard and allow them to burn, creating a terrifying image of a man who was impervious to pain. His crew, loyal and fiercely dedicated, followed him through countless raids, but even his reign would eventually come to an end. Other pirate captains rose to fame in their own right, including Charles Vane, Anne Bonny, and Calico Jack Rackham. Each had their own unique leadership style and ruthless ambition. Anne Bonny, for instance, was one of the few female pirates of her time. She dressed as a man to avoid detection and fought alongside male pirates, proving that the pirate's life was one of both opportunity and danger, no matter one's gender. Calico Jack Rackham, another infamous captain, was known for his flamboyant dress and daring raids, which made him a legend in pirate circles. His ship, the Revenge, was a formidable vessel, and his crew was one of the most feared in the Caribbean. The pirates' life was defined by one thing: treasure. They were after gold, silver, jewels, and anything of value that could be traded for riches. From the Caribbean to the Indian Ocean, pirates struck fear into the hearts of traders, merchants, and governments. The treasure they sought was often hidden on remote islands or aboard heavily armed merchant ships. However, the pursuit of wealth was not without its challenges. Pirates were not the only ones searching for treasure, and soon they found themselves facing off against the full might of European naval forces, who were more than eager to eliminate the pirate threat. But even as the pirates fought for survival, they created a lasting legacy. The pirates' code, their pursuit of treasure, and their fearless rebellion against authority made them legends that would be told for centuries to come. From the pages of pirate novels to the silver screen, their stories have captured the imagination of people worldwide. Today, pirates are seen as symbols of freedom and rebellion, their spirit still alive in the tales of adventure they left behind. The golden age of piracy may have come to an end, but the allure of treasure, freedom, and a life lived on the edge continues to captivate us all. As the years passed, the pirates' once glorious reign began to falter. The rise of powerful navies, particularly the British Royal Navy, meant that pirates faced mounting pressure. With greater military strength and improved tactics, the naval fleets became more efficient at hunting down pirates. The days of free-roaming piracy, where pirates could strike at will and vanish into the horizon, were coming to an end. The pirates' hideouts, such as Nassau in the Bahamas, became known to naval forces, and efforts to capture or eliminate pirates intensified. Pirates were increasingly forced to retreat to the furthest corners of the world, hiding on remote islands, jungles, or desolate coasts. But even there, they couldn't escape the long arm of the law forever. Many pirates met their end at the gallows, their once-feared reigns brought to an abrupt and public stop. The infamous pirate Blackbeard was one of the first major pirate captains to be captured and executed. In 1718, he was killed in a fierce battle off the coast of North Carolina. His death sent shockwaves through the pirate world, signaling the beginning of the end for many of the legendary pirate captains who had terrorized the seas. The British Navy had been hunting Blackbeard for months, and when they finally cornered him, it was a bloody battle that left Blackbeard dead and his crew in disarray. But Blackbeard's death didn't mark the end of piracy. It only accelerated the process. Soon after, pirates like Charles Vane, Anne Bonny, and Edward Lowe faced similar fates. As these pirate captains were captured, they were brought to trial, and the punishment was always severe. Hanging was a common form of execution for pirates, and their bodies were often displayed publicly to send a strong message to others. Some pirates who had been captured alive were given the grim choice of either facing execution or serving in the British Navy. Few chose the latter. For many pirates, the end was swift and unforgiving. They had once been the terror of the seas, and now they were reduced to criminals at the mercy of a stronger and more organized force. Their stories, however, lived on in the memories of those who had witnessed their rule and their downfall. Pirate trials became public spectacles, and news of their execution spread like wildfire, becoming part of the legend and folklore of piracy. But while the pirate's life was harsh and dangerous, it was also filled with moments of triumph. They had lived outside the law on their own terms, in defiance of the established authorities, and that was something to be remembered. Despite the decline of piracy, the legends of the pirate captains lived on. In the years following their executions, their names became part of popular culture. Stories of their treasure hunts, daring escapes, and fierce battles were told and retold, each retelling adding more to the myth. Pirates like Blackbeard became larger-than-life figures, their exploits woven into the fabric of American history. Their names were synonymous with adventure, danger, and the spirit of rebellion. But as piracy faded, so too did the pirates' ability to live freely. Those who managed to escape the gallows were often forced into hiding, living out their days in obscurity. Some turned to legitimate work, trying to make an honest living after years of lawlessness. Others remained as outlaws, always on the run, unable to escape the consequences of their actions. The pirate's life was no longer a life of adventure and freedom. It had become one of constant evasion and survival. In the years following the golden age of piracy, many nations took steps to eliminate piracy altogether. Stronger naval fleets were established, and international agreements were made to root out piracy from the seas. The once popular pirate havens were taken over by colonial authorities, and pirates were no longer able to find safe refuge. But even with all of these efforts, piracy never truly disappeared. As long as there are seas to sail and treasures to be had, there will always be those who are willing to take to the waves in search of fortune, regardless of the consequences. As the years went on, the pirate's image transformed from that of a criminal to a symbol of freedom and rebellion. The pirate became a romantic figure, a hero who fought against the tyranny of the world's governments. Today, pirates are celebrated in books, movies, and television shows. The pirates of the Golden Age may have been ruthless criminals, but in the eyes of popular culture, they are rebels, adventurers, and outlaws who defied the system. Their stories continue to inspire, reminding us of a time when the seas were wild and the promise of treasure was enough to drive men to risk everything. Pirates may have lived a short and violent life, but their legacy lives on in the stories we tell. Their boldness, their courage, and their thirst for adventure have made them figures to be admired, even if their methods were less than honorable. The life of a pirate was one filled with extremes, from the heights of wealth and freedom to the depths of betrayal and death. But through it all, they captured the imagination of those who came after them, ensuring that their place in history would never be forgotten. The gallows may have claimed their bodies, but their stories will continue to echo across the ages, a reminder of a time when the pirate ruled the seas.